Okay, tonight for our guest speaker, we have Zimmerman, who's a health and nutrition coach.
Yes, I am.
And she has come tonight to share how to live a healthy lifestyle. A very good friend of Pam and I. And so we're very proud to take you all down a presentation she made special for us tonight. This is the first time anybody's seen this, including our husband.
That's right. I love the press.
Evening is yours. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here tonight. Thank you, Jim and Pam. It's a pleasure to be here. And I thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to come. So I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about myself. I'm very proud to stand here and tell you that I have lost 1,600 pounds. 40 pounds 40 times. Not really, but it feels that way. I'm a former yo-yo dieter. Hello? Yes.
Hey, Steve.
I am a former yo-yo dieter who decided enough was enough a couple years ago. And several years ago, I just decided that I was done the yo-yo roller coaster. And over the next 2 years, I lost 90 pounds, and I've kept it off for 4 years. Thank you. So I decided at 53 years old I would go back to school. I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I became a certified health coach. And I'm devoting my life to helping people learn how to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle and not ride that yo-yo roller coaster that I rode. And I'm happy to say that I have a secret. And my secret is I know how to have sustainable weight loss, increased energy, stress reduction, all without dieting. And by the end of the evening, you will know the secret too. Everybody says, what's your secret? How'd you do it? What's your secret? Well, by the end of the night, you'll know the secret too. So I invite you to join me, as well as Dorothy and all of her friends, along the Yellow Brick Road to Wellness. Okay, so there's Dorothy. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a little girl named Dorothy, and she was lost. All she wanted to do was go home. Her home was full of stress. She was tired all the time. She was busy dashing from appointments to, everything that life entails. And she really wanted to be in a place of peace and productivity and health and wellness and energy throughout the day. And she had all these challenges. So I'm going to ask you, what does your home look like? What are your challenges? Whether it's health, energy, weight loss, just learning how to eat healthy. What are your challenges?
Well, this is a very special audience since most here have had transplants, so that makes it a very different type of challenge, right? And some have been fairly skinny, like Dan. Steve, you've been amazing with the change in your being over the years. How want to talk briefly about that?
150 pounds. I lost 150 pounds in 2 years.
My goodness, that's wonderful.
After my transplant.
That's wonderful. And how did you do that?
I had a transplant.
Well, I wish you had done it without the transplant.
I look in the mirror every morning and see a scar going from here to here.
It changed your life.
Yes, ma'am.
It changed your life. And how do you feel now?
Wonderful.
That's
Every
wonderful.
day I feel better every day.
Every day's a gift. It's life, right?
Yep.
That's why we're here.
In the morning I look up and I say thank you. I go to sleep and I look up and I say thank you. Everything in the middle.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Good for
Thank
you.
you.
I'm proud of you. What does everybody else feel like? What are your daily challenges? Do you run out of energy? Are you struggling to lose weight?
You're hitting them all.
Hitting them all. Okay. So who was the first person along the Yellow Brick Road that Dorothy met?
Scarecrow.
The scarecrow. Exactly. All he wanted was a brain. He just was hungry for knowledge, right? He doesn't really know what to eat, how to have the energy throughout the day. So all we really need to know in order to eat healthy and to be healthy and live a healthy lifestyle, we really need to know what exactly that looks like. What is eating healthy? So I'll ask you, what would your life be like if you had an abundance of energy and strength? What would it be like?
Scary.
Scary. Why would it be scary, Pam?
Because well, in the last couple of months, I've gotten a lot of energy and strength because of a change in my wellness plan.
Really? Would you like to expand on that?
Well, I've actually been working with Debbie, and she's helped me to change my lifestyle with what I'm able to eat, what I do eat, and I still haven't conquered some things yet, but I actually eat fish now.
I know.
That's amazing.
I'm so proud of you. Karen's doing fabulously, and she's learning exactly what to do. Because how do we do something if we don't know how to do it? Okay, so we need to know the facts. And that's what the Scarecrow wanted. He wanted energy to be able to get off of that stick and live a healthy lifestyle. But he really didn't know how to do it, and Dorothy didn't know how to do it. So together they're going to try to find out. So where do you find your strength? Okay, how is your day affected by your energy level? How do you feel when your energy is low? Anybody, does anybody, I mean, not everybody is Jim, the Energizer Bunny that's just like running. So does anybody have an energy low in the middle of the day?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you do when you have that low?
Have a happy gallon ice cream and got 16 cases of fish.
Wow, yum. Yeah. That good?
Yeah, but you typically do turn to something sweet, don't you?
You turn to something sweet?
I was gonna say a couple of chocolates.
A couple of chocolates, and you think that's going to lift you up? Give you a little bit of energy?
About a couple of chocolates each, sure.
Right, and you're not eating the healthy, chocolate full of cacao beans, you're eating, whatever, junk chocolate. And it gives you a little burst of energy along the way.
Caffeine boost. It's a xanthine boost.
It's a caffeine boost, okay. So, some of those choices, you feel good right away, but that may not be the best choice. And there are choices that can either energize us or drain us. So, energy is affected by many factors. There's chemical stress, which could be food, cigarettes, alcohol, anything like that. Emotional stress, when you're under an emotional situation, you may be lacking some energy. Mental stress and physical stress. But I want to talk about, right now, my favorite one of these, which is food. So the food that we eat can either increase or decrease our energy. So what foods do you think decrease our energy?
Probably fatty foods or high sugar foods.
High sugar foods, right. So the energy, the bar that you're eating, when you think it's really increasing your energy, maybe decreasing it. What else?
Carbohydrates.
Certain carbohydrates.
Yeah, certain.
Exactly, right. What else? Well, I'll tell you. There are certain foods that decrease. So we might grab a cup of coffee when we need some energy, and I would never tell anybody not to have the coffee. My husband can attest to that. I love my coffee in the morning. Don't I need it? Yeah, it's my liquid attitude. Okay, yeah. Love my coffee. But too much coffee is going to decrease my energy. Too much alcohol, sugar, soda, too much meat or too little meat can also decrease our energy. Chemically processed foods, tobacco, surprisingly milk, too much milk, and artificial sweeteners. So you may think that these are increasing your energy, but in fact, they're actually depleting it because they're robbing our body of the nutrients that we really need. When you put an artificial sweetener in your body thinks, oh, I'm getting something sweet, yay! And then it doesn't actually get it. So it thinks, oh, I need more. So it actually, when you're eating a lot of these low-calorie foods that have a lot of artificial sweeteners in it, it's actually making your body crave even more. And it's depleting our energy. So what kind of foods do you think increase our energy?
Fruit.
Fruit, right, a natural sugar. What else? Vegetables, right, a very good carb.
Now, you just use sugar on the other side, so obviously there's different types of sugars.
There are different types of sugars. I mean, there's sugars that's in candy, and then there's a natural sugar, which is good for you. Now, too much, I mean, if you have diabetes or you have some other health problems, too much isn't going to be good for you either. But there are foods that naturally increase I love my little cauliflower sheep. I think they're so cute. Okay, so foods that are alive are the things that are going to give us energy. That makes sense. They're alive. They grow from the ground. They're often raw and will spoil if left out. They are the whole foods, the grains, the vegetables, the beans. These are things that are going to give us energy. Foods that are in their natural state, and superfoods like dark leafy greens, lettuces, kale, chard, things like that. They're all going to give us energy. The other thing that gives us energy is mindful eating and absolutely eating breakfast. Now, what did everybody have for breakfast today? What did you have for breakfast?
Shredded wheat.
I'm so proud of you. Very good. But everyone else?
Oh, bran cereal with some fresh mango pop in it.
Yum. Harry, what did you have for breakfast today?
Frosted Flakes.
Okay, so what do you think?
No, I was only at 10. And I had it at 9.
So, poor Harry, it's like the only thing that's really good in the house for him. So the difference between shredded wheat and Frosted Flakes is that shredded wheat is not as processed as the Frosted Flakes, and there isn't as much sugar. So Pam is going to be more energized, and the wheat is going to stay with her longer than the Frosted Flakes that Harry had. And eating mindfully. How many people sit down and eat their breakfast, or they're eating it on the run? Sit down and eat it. Right?
I'm always eating on the run.
Always eating on the run. Now, does that affect you? Do you see any difference between when you sit down and enjoy your breakfast as opposed to when you're eating it in the car or eating it at your desk?
It's been 4 years since I've sat down to eat breakfast. So yeah, I'm usually eating on the run because I'm usually getting up late.
Right. Okay, so it all comes down to planning. Because I know personally, I eat very mindfully. I will sit down and have my breakfast. I'm not reading the paper. I'm not checking my email, because when I'm doing that, I'm reading the paper and eating, and reading paper and eating. Before I know it, the spoon is clinking in the bowl. I don't even realize that I ate. But when you eat mindfully, then you realize that you ate, you taste it, you smell it, and it's a much more satisfying experience. The other thing to do is drink. And I'm not talking beers and alcohol. I'm talking drink a lot of water. A lot of water. Many times when you think you're hungry, you're really thirsty. Your body disguises that. So the more water you drink, the more you're flushing out the bad toxins. And the other thing is to have a nice big glass of water in the morning. You know, it's called breakfast because you're breaking a fast. And a nice healthy glass of water in the morning is going to help push out all those toxins. Okay, so we want food nourishes us from the time we're very young. So we want to be eating healthy, non-processed food, but we don't want to be on a diet. So 90-10 is a concept that I have. So 90% of the time, eat shredded wheat. 10% of the time, Harry, you can have your Frosted Flakes. Okay? But if you 90% of the time are eating healthfully, and 10% of the time you're just really having a good time and eating whatever you want, you know, enjoying that occasional treat, then are you going to feel like you're on a diet?
No.
No, absolutely not. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. It's a way to really just live, and it's what we want to do. I mean, we've had some medical challenges in this room, so we really want to live a healthy, balanced life.
That has another factor too, doesn't it? Because I know I can sit there sometime and I just fantasize on something, be it ice cream, chocolate, you know, whatever. And until you have that, you're going to go out there and find everything else to eat that doesn't satisfy you, because it's not that which you fantasize. And the way you've described it to us, it allows you to go have that candy bar if that's what it takes to get past that point.
Exactly.
As opposed to that strict diet concept that we all yo-yo on.
Exactly, and that's why I'm not yo-yoing anymore, because if I really want to have something, I'll have it. You know, within reason. I don't give in all the time. Today, Harry and I went out to lunch. We went to a diner. I said, you know what I really, really want? And he said, what? I said, fried shrimp. He looked at me like I was crazy because I don't eat that kind of stuff. I said, I really want fried shrimp. but I'll have an egg white omelet. And when the waitress came over, that's what we said.
Why didn't you have the fried shrimp?
Why didn't I eat it? Because I know I'm going out to dinner tonight, and I wanted to
So,
save.
but you're compensated. You compensated. You knew you were going out for dinner tonight, so you might get the fried shrimp for dinner tonight.
I might get something more
So
fattening or more
you
convert tonight.
compensated.
Compensate or plan.
Yeah.
I'm planning because I know that I'm going out to dinner tonight, so I didn't want to have a pretty caloric lunch. Because I know that I probably wouldn't order like an egg white omelet tonight. So Harry's going to take me someplace nice. We don't know where yet.
Sure it is.
You what? I'm sorry.
I said Lebet Fen.
Lebec Fen would be like.
Sorry.
Correct. Yeah, before it goes out of business, Lebec Fen would be fabulous. Okay, and we want to be conscious of the taste, the texture, and the smell. So if we really are going to enjoy something, there's sometimes where you're so hungry you inhale it, or you've eaten everything around it, you really want that ice cream, and you eat everything around it. I'll have a little bit of, all brand cereal, I'll have a rice cake, and I'll have an apple. And then by the time you finally have it, you wolf it down. Have the treat, or have the healthy food, but eat it mindfully. Taste it. Really taste it and chew it and see what the consistency is, and really enjoy it.
It was fascinating.
I'm sorry?
It was fascinating last night. I went to see the new movie Hereafter, and part of the scene in that, they're taking cooking lessons, and he's paired them up, and one of the hour-long cooking lessons evidently is learning to taste and smell food. So with blindfolds on half the team, the other half is giving them something in the mouth that they've got to describe. And so what you're saying here was part of all things, how to cook. Amazing.
And it's how to eat, because when you really want something, let's say you want a treat or even anything for dinner, think to yourself, what am I in the mood for? If you're in the mood for something really spicy, then a bland dinner isn't going to do it for you. Or if you're in the mood for something sweet, then a spicy dinner isn't going to do it for you. So before you go snack or cook dinner, think to yourself, what do I want? Do I want something crunchy? Do I want something smooth? If you want something smooth, maybe it's yogurt. If you want something crunchy, maybe it's popcorn. But eat it mindfully. And that's why eating healthfully, whether you have to lose weight or whether you just want to eat healthfully, whether you want to maintain your weight, is really just being mindful and realize what you want to eat. Don't just eat haphazardly. The difference between processed and non-processed foods is huge. When we eat, let's say, a protein bar or a piece of white bread or something that's cooked and processed, the body doesn't have to process it. Our body is really just like a vessel. You eat the food, it's all processed already, it goes in your body and it goes out. When you're eating a non-processed food like oatmeal, shredded wheat is a non-processed food, brown rice, fruits, vegetables, meats, your body actually has to process it. So not only is your body working harder and you're losing weight just because your body is working harder, but it stays with you longer because it has to be processed. So therefore, if you're eating brown rice versus a big hunk of bread, the brown rice is going to stay with you longer and it's going to satiate you longer, and you're not going to be going for a snack in half an hour. Does that make sense to everybody? And that is probably one of the most important concepts in eating healthy. You really just want to eat a lot of non-processed food, and then you won't be snacking haphazardly. And low energy density foods is another really good one. Picture a handful of grapes and a handful of raisins. 20 grapes and 20 raisins. Both have the exact same calories. Which is going to fill you up longer? Or fill you up more and stay with you longer?
The grapes.
The grapes. Why?
There's a lot of moisture in it.
Exactly. They're full of water. A low energy density food is a raisin. It's the same, it's a grape, but the energy is shrunk real tight. So the sugar is real tight. The grape is full of water, full of fiber, literally takes up more room in your stomach. I mean, how fast can you down a handful of raisins? 1, 2, 3. but 20 grapes is going to take you a whole lot longer. So look for foods if you're snacking, or even in the foods that you're eating, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, look for those low energy density foods, things that aren't real tight. So fruit versus dry fruit, things like that. Does that make sense? Okay. So what's stopping you? How many people know of 3 foods that you could be eating for energy, but you're not? Is everybody eating completely healthy? No. Okay, so what is stopping you?
My issue is the reverse of that. I eat a fairly healthy diet, and then I eat a whole bunch of unhealthy stuff.
After dinner?
After dinner, I'll eat half a box of crackers. Crackers are the only processed food other than condiments, I really have in my house.
And sometimes you just feel like eating them, you don't know why.
Well, yeah, a lot, not sometimes, a lot. And I like to eat them right before I go to bed.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe you're craving the salt from the crackers. Maybe we're gonna get to why we might eat when we're not hungry. I can do my best eating when I'm not hungry.
What kind of crackers are you eating? So are they salt crackers or plain crackers?
They're whole wheat crackers. Whole wheat or multi-grain crackers. They're not cheese crackers or anything awful like that. Or I'll eat, 4 pieces of whole wheat, slices of whole wheat bread. I mean, but I don't eat 4 pieces of whole wheat bread after I've eaten dinner.
We eat for a whole lot of reasons other than the fact that we're hungry. Sometimes our body is craving balance. So if we had a sweet, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, but if we had a sweet dinner, we might crave salt later at night. So our body is craving that balance, or likewise, if we have a real smooth dinner, like a real maybe a wet dinner for lack of another term, then you might be craving that dryness at night. Your bodies might be craving that balance, but we'll be getting into that. So, who does she meet? Who does she meet next? It's Dorothy and the Scarecrow, and then who do they meet next on the road?
Tin Man.
Right, they meet the Tin Man, and the Tin Man really just wants a heart. So he knows, and luckily some of you have new ones. So, isn't that wonderful?
And some of them have license plates that say Tin Man on it because of that.
Really?
Yep.
Isn't that nice? And you now have healthy hearts, which is wonderful. But the Tin Man realizes that it's not just about what you know, it's all the other things that affect you. And that's what I'm getting into with you, Susan, right? That's what I'm alluding to. It's more than knowing what to eat. We all know that it's probably better to eat an apple than a Hershey bar, right? We're smart, we know that. But there's all these emotions and outside forces that are affecting us and in everything that we eat. So how do you think the outside influences affect your overall eating? Who eats when they're not hungry?
All the time.
All of us, okay. Why are you eating?
Bored?
Bored?
Taking a break from what I'm doing.
Right, taking a break, need some stimulation.
Everybody else in the room is eating.
Your hands have to enjoy something.
Everyone else is right. You want to be busy with something, so you just start eating and going through the cabinets and stuff. We eat for all sorts of reasons. Well, allow me, if you will, to give you a little model for my business. Jude did say I'm a health coach, and this is my food pyramid. Hi, how are you?
This is John,
Hi, John.
liver recipient. That's Debbie, John.
So this is the model for my business. This is my food pyramid. It looks quite different than the USDA pyramid. So what is different about it? What's the first thing you notice?
You have reasons to eat on the outside.
Exactly. It's the balance on the outside. So I don't care whether you're following the USDA pyramid or Junk Food Nation or you're eating really healthy. The inside is the food. And you'll notice that there's water there as well. That is what I call secondary foods. Doesn't really matter what you're eating because the primary foods along the outside are things that are nourishing us, but they're not food at all. They're our relationships, our physical movement, our career, and our spirituality. Now, how do you think that has an effect on your food and on eating a healthy diet?
Tremendous impact.
In what way?
Well, you know, being unemployed, I tend to get up and go into the kitchen to the cabinet where I normally wouldn't have had a cabinet of food there.
Exactly. Exactly. So your career is affecting your food, which in turn is affecting your health. What else? Likewise, if somebody has a very stressful career, maybe it's not even food. Maybe they're coming home with headaches. You know? So let's deal with the career piece. Let's deal with the stress in your career and see how that's affecting your health. It's not just about not eating. It's about dealing with the problems with the career or finding a job or what's going on with your life. How do you think relationships have an effect on your food and your health?
You're not happy because you eat incorrectly.
Exactly. Some people are emotional eaters. I'm a former emotional eater, I'm happy to say. But yes, it does. Some people overeat when they're upset. Some people can't eat at all when they're upset. Some people, I mean, you don't have to be sad to eat. Happy, sad, anxious, scared, you know, even happy. We're taught from a young age to bring food. Baby's born, let's have a party. Somebody passes away, let's bring in food. Somebody gets married, let's have a party. There's always food around. So we're taught that emotions are interconnected with the food. And our relationships also, let's say you have a lot of friends, we have friends that we call our laugh too much, drink too much buddies. You know, have too much fun buddies. You know, when we're with these people, we tend to overeat and really do excess. So relationships, that doesn't have to be a bad relationship. It could be a good relationship too. You know, it affects, you know, you have certain people that you hang out and you always go to the favorite bar or whatever. That can affect your food as well. Your physical activity, well, that is pretty obvious. How does that affect your health?
You're not moving around, you're just putting it on, not burning up the energy of what you're eating.
And how do you get energy? Did you get energized when you move around? Obviously. So if you're bored at work and you just need a break, it doesn't mean you have to go down to the vending machine. Get up and walk around. It will energize you and in turn affect your food. And how about spirituality? How do you think that has an effect on our health? Well, I believe that if you believe in a higher power, and I don't care what it is, if you believe in something greater than ourselves, then you can believe you can do anything. Anything, as long as you believe that there is something greater going on. So that's what I call my primary foods and my secondary foods. And it's a circle for a reason. Because as I started talking to Susan before about creating balance, everything in life is balanced. So when it is really cold out, what do we want to be? Warm. When it's really, really hot out, what do we want to be? Cold. When it's cold out, what do we want to eat?
Hot soup.
Yeah, exactly. And when it's hot out, we're craving ice cream, salads, and things like that. Everything is balanced. So likewise, like as I was saying before, if you ever have dinner and then you're not even hungry, but you say, I really feel like having something sweet, well, maybe you had a really spicy dinner. And maybe that's why, because our body is craving balance. So a really great idea is to build all the different tastes into your meals. So if you're having maybe a spicy meat or a spicy chicken, maybe have a sweet potato with it. And if you build a balanced meal, those cravings might go away. Any questions about this? Does it make sense? Good. Okay, so now what? We have the knowledge, we're listening to our heart. What more do we need? Who do they meet next?
Or barn.
What?
The cowardly.
Okay.
Come on, you
They meet the cowardly lion. And he just just needs the courage along this yellow brick road to wellness. How can you be courageous? How can you live this healthy, balanced life? What is getting in the way? The most important thing is in the planning, and I think I touched on that a little bit. So how can you be courageous when you're going out? You're going out to dinner. How can you be courageous? You know what's healthy. You know why you're eating and what you're trying to do. So what do you need to be courageous about? Well, maybe when you're going out and you're going to a restaurant and they have your favorite pasta Alfredo, okay? And you pretty much know that pasta Alfredo, fettuccine Alfredo is probably not the best thing on the menu. So you have to be courageous to order wisely. You have to be courageous to plan. Like I was saying today, I had the omelet instead of the fried shrimp. Will I have fried shrimp tonight? Probably not. But I will order something more caloric because I've planned for it. I have it. I had a little breakfast, I had a healthy snack, I had a healthy lunch, and now I plan for it. So to me, that's being courageous. You know, it's also being courageous in ordering. Read the words on the menu. And before you leave, I have healthy restaurant dining tips in the back. Please feel free to take a sheet before you leave. Read the words and be assertive when you're ordering. So when you're ordering, it takes courage to really order it the way you want. I don't care that everybody else is waiting to order. I want the food the way I want it. And I take a long time to order. But I am very assertive. Now when you're ordering in a restaurant, if you want something a certain way, I have a tip for you. Make it really specific and definite. So if you say, I'll have the chicken, you could say, I'll have the chicken sauce on the side and I'll have the tossed salad dressing on the side, please. And the chicken is going to come out and it's going to have the sauce on it that you don't want to eat because it's full of butter and salt and all this stuff. And your salad is going to have the dressing on it. So instead, you have to be very, very courageous and just say, I will have the chicken. And can I ask you a question? Do you mind, could I possibly have the sauce on the side? Make a big deal about it. The food will come out the way you want it. Trust me, and if it doesn't come out the way you want it, what are you going to do?
Send it back.
Send it right back. You're paying for it, you want it the way you want it. Order, I'm sorry? Yeah, order a la carte. Just because it's a full meal, just because it comes with everything, you don't have to have everything. Be courageous. Look at the whole menu. And what kind of words are you looking for? Let's talk about the words you think that might not be healthy on a menu. What do you think? What?
Fried,
Fried. Butter.
cheese,
Cheese. All the good stuff, right?
White sauce.
White sauce.
cream.
Right. Exactly. So those are the words, if you see it has it, be courageous. Don't order it. What words are you looking for to eat healthfully when you're eating out?
Green.
Green, fresh, grilled, steamed, broiled, yeah, it says the man who lost 100 and how many pounds?
Can I say something?
Yes, of course.
You've got three characters up here. Four, Dorothy and the three of them. I think you're missing one character.
Who?
The Wicked Witch.
We're getting to her.
Oh, okay. I hope the Wicked Witch is who I think it's going to be.
No, let's see. Okay, so we are getting to her, and she plays a big part in our eating healthy. So anybody can do this. You all have the knowledge. You have the heart. You know, you're aware of the outside influences. You have the courage to do this. So your primary food, you want to ask for support. Ask the waitress for the food the way you want it. Ask your husband, your wife, your partner, your girlfriends, whatever you want. Ask them for their support. Get physical. Get moving. I don't care if it's just a walk around this room. That really, really helps. Find a career you love. It will energize you. said to a friend of mine that I forgot to eat lunch the other day. She says, ooh, you're turning into one of those? I forgot to eat lunch because I was so energized on working on a project for my career. It's very, very energizing. And believe in yourself. That higher belief that there's something greater than us. Believe in yourself that you can live a healthy, balanced life. And then secondary, plan your food and activities. So if you know you're going out to dinner, eat a lighter lunch or a healthier lunch. Make the decision once. This is one that I do all the time. When you're in the supermarket and you're looking at something that you want to buy, and it's talking to you and you're having a whole conversation with it, don't buy it. Make the decision one time to leave it there. Even if it's, I was once talking to fat-free muffins. Should I buy these? Shouldn't I buy these? Can I eat just one? I'm not sure. Will I have it for breakfast? Will I have it for dessert? A whole conversation. I left it there. And by making that decision one time, I didn't have to make it every single time I went in the kitchen. It's living a healthy lifestyle. Be assertive, we talked about that. Read the words when going out. Eat non-processed foods. Portion distortion, watch your portions. It's real easy to, have a huge dessert if it's at home. Have a little bit. Or in restaurants, the portions can be huge. So start splitting a meal. I know you guys do that a lot. Split a meal. Or bring it home and have it for the next day. Okay. So along the Yellow Brick Road to Wellness, we meet a lot of people. Is that what you were looking for?
Not really.
Okay.
My wicked witch happens every day, 1 hour a day, and that's exercise. You can't do this without exercise.
Absolutely.
I mean, they work hand in hand. You can do everything you just said here and follow it to a T, but if you don't exercise, it's not going to matter. That's how I've done it, and that's how I was taught to do it in the hospital by the people that taught me how to do this in the hospital.
Absolutely.
And you have to do aerobics or some sort of exercise along with this because it will suppress your appetite. I know when you get those endorphins going, you're not hungry, and you think you might be, but you come out of that exercise routine and you're not really as hungry as you thought you were.
And you feel great.
And you feel great on top of it. So they work hand in hand.
Absolutely, and that's why it's on, at the bottom of that wheel was physical activity. It is so important. It does go hand in hand. You may think you're eating as healthy as you want, but if you're not exercising and getting even a little bit of physical movement, you're just sedentary.
It's a total waste of time.
And finding an exercise that you like. So what kind of exercise do you do?
I do an hour of aerobics and I do an hour of water aerobics, 3 to 5 days. I do water aerobics 3 days a week, and I do normal aerobics 5 days a week.
Fabulous. And you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Right.
Tell her what you do.
What do you do?
I train for triathlons.
Wow. Fabulous. Fabulous. Yeah, the key is finding something that you enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to want to do it.
No.
So,
That's why most people don't exercise.
right.
Because they don't. I go to a structured gym over in Jersey at the hospital.
Virtual?
Yes. And I would say that 90% of the people that go will say right out front, I hate coming here, but I have to.
Right.
And if you hate doing it, it's totally worthless.
It absolutely is, because you're not going to enjoy it, and it's going to be a chore. But if you can find something, and it doesn't have to be aerobic exercise. Maybe you like to garden. Maybe you like to dance. Maybe you like to skate. Maybe you like to walk. Anything, any movement is exercise, and you're absolutely right. It is integral to living a healthy, I don't care if you need to lose weight or not, it's integral to living a healthy lifestyle. So thank you for bringing that up. So what I'm talking about here is different people that affect you along your path, along the Yellow Brick Road to Wellness. So recognize your internal and external witches. So what do you think are our internal witches?
Doubt.
Right. Self-doubt? Absolutely. What else? Well, what do you do when you start doubting yourself? Question yourself. It's all that negative self-talk. I probably, I can't exercise, like I can't walk for that long, or or this outfit makes me look fat, or, all that negative stuff that we tell ourselves, whether it's with our health or with our job or at home. It's all that negative yuck that we tell ourselves that we tend to believe. Those are our internal witches. What do you think are our external witches? Maybe they're non-supportive people. Maybe they're people that say, oh, come on, you can eat this because, you're no fun. You're no fun anymore because you're only eating healthy. I don't have to eat, unhealthy food to be fun. So your external witches could be all the people around you that they may mean well, but that's when you have to plan and be assertive. They really affect us on every level. You want to hang with supportive people. Hang with the fun people. Hang with the people that are going to support you, that are going to say, wow, that's really great that you exercise that way. Wow, look at you. Look at you, you tried fish. That's wonderful. Look at you, you ate something that you've never eaten before. Or look at that beautiful garden. You want to hang with the people that make you feel good. And the toxic people, get rid of them. You don't need them. You don't need them, it's not healthy. And ask for the help that you need. Dorothy asked to go home, right? So now they have the knowledge, they were lost, they have the knowledge, they know that it's more than just knowing what to do, it's the heart and it's the emotions and everything that goes with it. They know that they need courage to put it all together. They know that there's unsupportive people and supportive people, and then ask what you want. So, what would be an example of what you want that you need to ask for? Okay, do you all do your own cooking?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Okay. What do you need help with? What do you need help with to live a healthy life?
Support, that's the main thing.
Right. And who are you getting your support from?
My spouse, my wife.
Your wife. And do you tell her what you need?
Do I tell her what I need?
Yeah.
She tells me what I should do. She's the boss.
That's my girl.
She's a tiny little thing, but she's the boss.
As it should be. No, I'm kidding. But people don't know what you need unless you tell them. One of my favorite stories to tell is, I love my brother-in-law dearly. I really do. When Harry and I first started dating, I was 90 pounds overweight and I was trying to watch myself. And I was special ordering all the time. And Bobby, God love him, but he's a real kidder. Oh, there she goes. And he would sort of make fun of me, but in a loving way, but it bothered me. So I said to him, this is how it makes me feel when you do this. And I really would appreciate if we didn't talk about the way I order. Well, he had no idea that he was upsetting me. And from that day forward, he was the most supportive person ever. And now when we go out, he's the first one to say, are you okay? Is there something here for you? Because if there isn't, we're leaving. So you have to ask for what you want. People don't know. So if you're living with somebody that's bringing in food that is calling you and you really don't want it in the house, tell them. Be honest with them. They want you to be happy. Ask for what you want. Ask for what you want with your relationships, when you're out to eat, whatever it is. When you're at work, you ask for what you want. So when you're home, you should too. And then they meet the wizard, who tells them that they had the knowledge and the skills all along. So you really just have to have some self-belief. Because you know you can do this. So tell me already. So I promised to tell you the secret. The secret to sustainable weight loss, sustainable energy, all without being on a diet, is to just eat food. Eat real food. Eat foods that grow, walk, or swim. Think about it. What could be unhealthy about that? Grow, walk, or swim. Does a piece of bread grow, walk, or swim? A piece of bread dunked in olive oil and cheese? No. Does the tomato, mozzarella, does that grow, walk, or swim? Yes, I include dairy in that. Okay. Eat non-processed foods that will sustain you. Balance your life. We talked about that, having balance in your life. Hang with people that energize you. Find a career that energizes you. Physical activity that you truly, truly enjoy. And a belief that you can be healthy, happy, and successful. That's my secret. It's eating well and living a healthy, balanced life. So how many of you know of a couple of things after listening to all of this that you can do? Anybody learn anything?
For me, it's just the planning, because I work like almost 10 hours a day, and I don't plan, but when I go to the store and plan, and I have everything I need, I do well. But when I don't have it, anything that's in front of me, I'll eat.
Absolutely. So the planning starts before dinner, and it starts before you went to work, and it starts even before you went to the supermarket. It's planning what you're going to buy so that you have the healthy food in your house, so that you can have the healthy breakfast, so that you can bring the healthy lunch to work. And then when you go home, you have everything in front of you because you planned a week ago before you went shopping. Planning is so, so essential. It really is. So it's more about, you know what to do, but sometimes you just need the support. So to thank you for coming tonight, I do have a complimentary health consultation for any of you who would like to meet with me. I'd love to meet with you. You can sign up in the back of the room. It's all about the support, and I'd be happy to help you along your yellow brick road to wellness. So you have all learned something. There's 3 important questions. So do you know what you can do? Do you know what to do now? You know what to do. My second question is, can you do it? Yes, of course you can do it. Here's the most important question of all. Will you? Thank you very much. Have a great night.
How about questions for Debbie? She does us the questions.
There you go. Any questions?
Turn around, fair play.
Do you exercise?
Yes, I do. I never used to though. When I was heavy, I did not exercise. It was hard. I didn't like it. I made a big joke about it. Then as I started losing weight, I do jazzercise 3 times a week because I love to dance.
Where?
In New Jersey at Jazz
He
Unlimited.
lives nearby you.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I live in Cherryville.
Oh, okay, so do we. So I do it at Jazz Unlimited in Martin Crossing Shopping Center. 3 days a week, treadmill 2 days a week, and then 2 days I don't. But yeah, and I love it. So if I can't get there, I'm sad. And I don't recognize that Debbie because that Debbie was not there several years ago. Yes.
Yeah, my problem, you say when you go out to eat or order healthy and things, that I can do that, and I can bring food home that's healthy. I've got this carbohydrate craving, and and now it's even to the point where I have to have a sandwich at lunch because I need my carbs. I used to be able to go out for lunch and have a big salad. I won't put mayo on it,
Right.
I won't put sauce on it.
Right.
I can eat a huge salad for dinner. I could eat 2 salads for dinner. Man, when I'm all done,
You want the carbs. Well, the salads are very wet, so it's possible you're taking in a lot of food that has a lot of water content. So I don't know, I just met you, but it's possible that your body is craving that dryness. So, I don't know, are you building some carbs into your dinner?
You know what, I kind of don't, because I know I'm going to just, whether I do or I don't, I know I'm going to hit the crackers and the bread.
There's that self-doubt. So I would suggest, do an experiment. Bring some healthy carbs into your dinner, whether it's whole grain rice, brown rice, some whole wheat pasta, or even better yet, like whole wheat couscous. There's a wonderful grain called quinoa. There's all sorts of wonderful grains. Do an experiment and see, and have some with your dinner, and then you may not crave that dryness or those carbs at night. But if you tell yourself you're going to have it, then you are. So maybe you could plan. It goes back to the planning. You said it's all about the planning. Maybe you can plan to have a healthier snack. Maybe this is what I do with my clients. So we work through it, and you come up with the idea. So what might be a healthier sort of dry snack that you could have at night? Can you think of anything? Something that's crunchy, I'm gonna challenge it. Something that's crunchy and salty.
Popcorn.
There you go.
But the bagged popcorn is full of calories. I mean, who are you kidding? I mean.
But yes,
so,
the popcorn.
I live alone, so if I make a bag, I'm eating the whole bag. Now, I know that there's smaller bags.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
I know.
And there are diet small bags without salt and without butter, over red marker.
I found one once, and I can't find
Newman
it
Zone.
again.
Yeah,
There was one that was like, low in calories, but yeah, I mean, if I'm making a bag, I'm making
Exactly.
a bag.
I have a term that I use, it's called crowding out. And so instead of saying to you, don't eat the crackers, I would say like maybe every other night, have the popcorn. And if you're going to make a big bag, split it up and save half.
Yeah.
All right, or then eat the whole thing. But what I'm saying is the popcorn.
I came from the clean my plate generation, and
Okay, so buy the smaller bags, and the popcorn is a whole grain. The popcorn grows, walks, or swims, but the crackers don't.
yeah,
And
the
they fill you up.
popcorn, unless I can find the slow.
The 95% fat-free popcorn is really very, very good. Yes.
I'll tell you, one of the things I really enjoy, and I'm ashamed to say, is a Klondike. I love Klondike. Well, my wife.
Well, what's to do with the
What's wrong with a Klondike bar? Take a look at the calories. It's like 700 calories in a Klondike bar, the normal size Klondike bar. My wife went shopping with us yesterday, and she came home and she says, I got a surprise for you. I said, what do you have? She said, I got Klondike bars for you. I said, I don't want to eat Klondike bars. She said, no. She hands me a Klondike bar. I guess it's about that big and about that high. She said, you can have this Klondike bar. It only has 100 calories and it's low in sugar.
Yep.
And she said, just eat it slowly. I think that's one of the problems that we have also when we eat.
Right, too fast. That's why I'm saying like eat mindfully.
Exactly. And she said, and it must have taken me 15 minutes to eat this Klondike bar. And I was satisfied.
Right, that's
And
wonderful.
it's one of these things where, and I was taught this in the hospital, that they said if you have a craving for something, don't let that craving go for more than 2 minutes, because it'll drive you crazy.
It'll drive you
And then
crazy.
when you finally break down, you'll double what you would normally eat.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I also find that I was taught that if I have a craving for something, fried shrimp, I'll order fried shrimp, and if there are 8 on the plate, I might eat 3, and after the third one, it's like, okay, I've had it, I don't eat it anymore.
It's wonderful. Because the fifth one tastes the same thing
As the first.
as the first one or the third one. So
But you
that's
have to-
wonderful, but you're
you have to-
learning,
you
you've
have
learned
to-
how to live this healthy, balanced life.
You have to get rid of that.
Right, and you have to figure out what you want. So you figured out, you really like Klondike bars. She came home with an alternative.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked you, Susan, what you like about the crackers. Is it the crunch, is it the sauce?
No, I'm wondering whether it's the salt. I'm thinking,
Right.
off the salt.
Right, so you may, and here's the other thing.
Sometimes at work after lunch, I'm aware that I'm craving salt.
Right.
And I go and I get the pop.
Can I ask you a question? How much do you eat fish?
Yeah, I mean, if I talk to you, I eat fish, I eat healthy stuff. I would never eat the cream sauce. I would never eat.
She's a healthy eater.
Yeah, they see me eat. I never get stuff with sauce on it. When I get a salad, I ask for it. I like it light.
The only reason I asked about the fish is because sometimes if we're really craving salt, we may be lacking in minerals, and then that's when I tell my clients to eat more fish, things that come from saltwater, seaweed salad, fish, things like that. But,
I eat seaweed. I eat my sushi.
And do you eat a lot of sugar?
Pardon?
Do you eat a lot of sugar?
I eat, in the office, there's several chocolate candy dishes.
So there's the balance.
But there's absolutely no sugar in my house. If you came to my house and wanted sugar for your coffee or tea, I'm going to send you down to the Starbucks.
I know, but my question is, are you eating the candy at work?
Yes, I eat the
Okay,
chocolate.
so it's possible that you're craving salt because you're having sugar. Just do an experiment and see.
She's making up for all the time with the chocolate.
Chocolate also has salt in it.
these are,
Even if it's a plain Hershey bar, it's got...
This is a woman who never touched chocolate until she got a transplant, so she went through her whole life not knowing what chocolate was.
Interesting.
but there's no cookies in my house, there's no ice cream in my house. Because I know if it's there, I'll eat it.
Sounds like my house.
I don't bring it in, because if it's there, I know I'll eat it.
Right.
But I don't eat it when I'm out.
Right. But the key is to figure out what you want. So
I
I eat mostly
I have
healthy,
seeds.
but I do have the frozen, low-calorie desserts. You know, Klondike makes a wonderful fudgeable. It's called Slither Bear. It's delicious.
Yes, it is.
It's delicious, isn't it? It's really good. So find what you like. So if you really like ice cream, bring in some of that low-calorie ice cream, the Slimmer Bears, the Weight Watcher Fudgeables, the Skinny Cow ice cream sandwiches are delicious. Figure out what you want and eat it, but eat it mindfully and in a healthy way.
Without Cool Whip.
Without Cool Whip.
Yeah, there you go, that's another thing.
Any other questions?
How do you get somebody to eat vegetables when they never did it? I'm serious. Up until, I would say, 5 years ago, the only vegetable I would eat was corn on the cob or sweet potatoes. That's it.
Carbohydrate.
Pam, would you like to address that?
And I have a daughter who's the same way. She'll eat like 2 vegetables, and that's it. But all her sisters are, you put a vegetable out and put a bowl of candy, and they're grabbing the vegetables in there.
How do I get somebody to do that?
She hypnotizes you, no.
My parents tried that.
I wouldn't eat vegetables, the only thing I would eat was corn and potatoes.
Carbohydrate.
And potato, they're carbs, they're not really vegetables. And I got started with spinach because my daughter makes this dish that's chicken and spinach and garlic and olive oil, which is wonderful, so I'll eat that. That's how I got started with eating a little bit of spinach. And my sister, I went to my sister's for the weekend, this past weekend, and she made me eggplant, and I ate that, and it was good. And part of it is the texture for me. I can't eat the crunchy. It has to be really mushy and soft vegetables for me to eat it. So I can't eat raw vegetables or steamed vegetables, which are really better for you,
Right.
but
Better not vegetables.
I'll get there. Eventually, I'll get there.
It's great.
And she took all the squashes, acorn squash, yellow squash, and zucchini squash, and she sauteed it in olive oil in a pan. And then she boiled spaghetti squash and served the squash mixture over the spaghetti squash, and I ate it.
I was supposed to say, you're not going to tell me that you ate, because I know how you eat. I don't believe you ate.
You notice I'm not saying anything over here because I haven't heard this and I haven't seen this.
Finding the taste that you like. So Pam really likes the sweet vegetables.
Yeah.
So I would start with finding a taste that they like. You know, if they like sweet things, then it's sweet potatoes, and it's yellow squash, and even onions are sweet. Any of those types of vegetables, the root vegetables are all very, very sweet and very grounding. Actually, that's another lecture altogether.
You've been saying, if I may, you've been saying about fish, you never ate fish.
I never ate
Which fish did they get you to try?
Well, Debbie got me to try tilapia.
Oh, really? Good.
So I had tilapia one night, we went to the Red Lobster, and then I went to lunch with my mother, and they had fried flounder, so I asked them if they could broil it, and I had broiled flounder. And then I went on a weekend women's retreat, and they had salmon, so I had salmon. I don't like salmon.
Yeah, that's a hard fish. That's on the skill.
And my sister this past weekend made tuna steak for me.
Right, that's another tough.
Real tuna, you know.
Yeah, that's another.
And that was very good.
Really? Cool.
See?
Now
Is that amazing?
Yes.
You know yourself on tuna steak that you're eating a meat steak, I think. I mean,
I think it comes down to being willing to try it. You know, like Pam has tried a whole lot of different things, and some she likes and some she doesn't, you know?
Oh, and I had orange ruffy too. In macadamia nuts. It was encrusted at the Chart House. I went to dinner with a friend there, so that was the special, the dish of the day or whatever you call it. And so I tried it, and it's not my favorite food, but
That's
it's
why
okay.
a lot of restaurants can serve tilapia Tilapia is very bland.
Very bland,
There's no
right.
flavor to tilapia at all.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, if you've never eaten fish, most places you go, they'll serve tilapia, they'll put something on top of the tilapia.
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
just to mask it, because there is no flavor in tilapia.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Have they gotten you to try lobster yet? Because lobster is very good.
Yeah, lobster is
No,
good.
Lobster and shrimp are very good. They're not great for you.
I've tried lobster and shrimp many moons ago, and I didn't like them. They're too
It's not the
rubbery
cheapest
for
person.
me. It's too rubbery and chewy for me.
But what Pam is doing is she's being very mindful about the taste, the texture, the smell, and if you can find the foods that really satisfy you, and you can really seek them out in really looking at them and finding about their characteristics, then you'll eat healthy, because then you know you're not going to waste your time on something that's real gritty or hard or something that's just not something that you like.
But I think our biggest achievement, though, is that you've changed your lifestyle in the sense that you're willing to try,
Yeah.
which is a
I've
big...
changed a lot of things.
Seriously, don't push that aside. That's
Yeah.
extremely important.
And it's absolutely true, she's doing great. And the thing that I do with my clients is it's a 6-month program, and we make small, tiny little changes, so you're absolutely right, she's changed her lifestyle, so that by the time you're done, it's just a lifestyle, it's just a way that you eat. You know, it's not, you eat completely different than when you started, and I'm blessed to have worked with you, or to continue working.
Well, and the other thing is, Debbie shared with me that she had a client that ate a lot of Cool Whip, and when they stopped eating the Cool Whip, they felt better because their joints would move, and so something clicked in my head. And so backing away from the Sweet and Low, because I would put 2 packets of Sweet and Low in 1 glass of iced tea. And I tried it without it, and I could not do it. So I went to 1.5, and then to 1,
Crowded it out.
and now I'm down to a half. And most times I can do it without. Every once in a while, I'll put a half a packet in just because I have this really need for something sweet. But when I went to my sister's on the weekend, the only thing I drank was water the entire weekend, from Friday to Sunday. So I had nothing artificial at all for 3 days. And I have arthritis, and I painted the entire weekend with my sister, and I could still move. When I got up Monday morning, I could still move. I didn't have any arthritic pain.
It's a wonderful feeling.
So it was amazing.
Health is a wonderful feeling.
And one of the biggest rewards, I've been doing this now for almost 3 years, may have been 3 years. And one of the biggest rewards is when you go into your wardrobe and you put something on, and your wife says to you, no, and you go, it doesn't fit, it's just too big.
It's too big.
And you go to the store.
What are you laughing about?
You go to the store that has been the only store you can shop in because it's for big and tall, and you're told very politely, Steve, you can't come here anymore because we don't have your size. We don't go that low. I was a size 56, and now I'm a 46, and they don't go that low anymore.
Right, isn't that
So for the
wonderful?
first time in my life, I actually shopped in a store for human beings.
It's,
No, I know the feeling.
Because there was a time when I couldn't shop.
I'm big and I'm tall, and I'm still big and I'm tall, and I still want to lose another 50 pounds, but slowly.
Right. Slowly with small
Yeah.
lifestyle changes, so
Yeah.
it's sustainable, and that's why I say that's the secret.
It's not, this is not fat diet.
No, it is not a diet.
It's not.
A
It's
diet
not a
is an
diet.
acronym. A
Yeah.
diet is an acronym for did I eat that?
A lot of the diets that are out there, Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers, all
Right.
these other things. I know people that I meet at the gym that have been on those, and they say they're all well and good while you're on it, but a month afterwards, when you're off of them,
Right.
you go right back up again because you don't know how to do this.
Exactly. A diet is something that you go on to lose weight,
Yes,
and you go off so you can eat.
yes.
I'm not dieting today, I'll have that treat or whatever, but you're right. This is a healthy lifestyle change that you can do for your life so you can live a healthy, balanced life. So, and you figured it out.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we don't cheat. You have to.
You have to, but let's not call it cheating.
But with
Let's-
moderate, with
Right,
I think
in moderation. Absolutely, because then that's a diet. You're never going to go through life without having ice cream. You know, you're never going to go through life without having bread or the crackers or the chocolate or whatever.
And like you said earlier, you have to plan. If you know you're going to go out for dinner at night, then you moderate what you're eating during the day, because you know you won't have the bread during the day, because you know you're going to a restaurant, they're going to have a good piece of bread there.
Absolutely.
So you say, well, I'll wait until dinner and get that little piece of bread there.
Or take it even one step further. Let's say you have a really busy day. Yesterday, I had a day where I left the house at like 7 o'clock, and I wasn't home until, I don't know, 9 or 9, whatever. And I had breakfast, I brought my lunch, and like a dinner that I ate at like 4 o'clock, because I knew that I didn't want to eat. I was going to a networking event, and I knew that they were going to, there was that Brio, and I knew they were going to have pizza and all sorts of stuff out. I didn't want to eat it. I also knew that when I got there, I was having a glass of wine. So I ate a little something before I went. I had my glass of wine, and I was very happy. I wasn't, tempted to eat this
The other thing that I've learned, and I've been told by physicians, people like yourself, is that your body is a fantastic machine. Your body will tell you when it's hungry. That if you have breakfast in the morning, and comes lunchtime, if you're not hungry, we shouldn't be on that 7, 12, 5 regimen.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to have lunch and you don't feel as though you need to eat lunch, have a glass of water and don't bother with lunch.
Absolutely. But eventually eat it so that you're not
Yeah, exactly.
crazy. But sometimes we think we're hungry. Let's say we have a good breakfast, and at 10:30 we think we're hungry. We may be thirsty. Thirst can disguise itself as hunger. So have a glass of water before you go have that snack. So, any other questions?
Now I can see.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to have presented to you tonight. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Give yourselves a hand for it. Thank you.
I want to throw one thing in, what I find amazing. I watched an amazing transformation over there, and what Deb was saying about our brother-in-law, he's a character. When we go out to eat now, she'll order, and then 2 or 3 or 4 of the people at the table will say, just double it.
Yeah. I'll have what she's having.
Or repeat what she just said. And these were the people that looked at her like she was nuts at one point.
Right.
So it's a transformation.
Or you'll order something and they'll say, you go to like a wedding or, some event, and I'll just very quietly ask the waitress, can I just have some grilled chicken, whatever, and then it comes to the table and everyone else is like, where'd you get that? So I asked for it. And they're real jealous because they're stuck eating the fattening thing. So,
Tell me you brought it in your purse.
Pardon me?
Tell me you brought it in your purse.
There you go. Piece of tilapia.
Well, I just wanted to add one thing, because Debbie's approach, I've been with Pam for a good number of years, and I've never pushed any of this, because she doesn't want it. I don't eat that, I don't eat that, I don't eat that. That's been her mantra. And here it is, less than 6 months, and she's trying things that I would never have believed she would ever try in her life. And I have no idea how I could have got her to even taste those things, because I would eat it opposite, she wouldn't even taste it. And so, Debbie, I give you a lot of credit, because the gentle approach you've taken and the logic behind it has obviously worked.
Thank you. Thank
So.
you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.